Hello guys, and you are welcome to our YouTube
channel.
Yep. So today,
What's up?
babe, what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to tell you guys how we met. Like
The story of how we met. I feel like this is cutting you away from the video.
No.
Come.
Yeah, I see.
Hey,
Okay, what that? So that they will know that I have broad shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be telling you how we met. You know, the first time I met this beautiful girl, and how is that? So, do you want to start? You know, let be like.
Okay. I'm going to start. Before we get started, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell people about this YouTube channel, this YouTube. Okay. So how did we meet? So first of all, I'm going to say shout out to Chukwuka Chukwumerije of the Yola tribe.
Yola!
That was it. I met like really amazing people, and what stood out for me in that community was the fact that it wasn't something that I was, if you know me, I was talking about business and all those many stuff, But this was something out of the serious things I would normally talk about. This was literally a community of people who love to travel, people who love to hang out, and all of that, right?
Yeah, and guess what? I, was the chief of that tribe.
He was the chief
in
of
Lagos.
Lagos tribe.
And as at the time I met Chukwuka, of course we went to the same university, University of Nigeria, Nsukka.
The Lions.
Now we.
The Lions.
Scatter.
The Lions.
Anyway, you say? People that are coming from Nayu or whatever.
What is Nayu?
Nayu now.
Unizik.
Nnamdi Azikiwe University now.
Unizik.
Is it not Nnamdi Azikiwe? Nayu.
Oh my God.
Nayu, You now start talking down on a whole lion. We are the #1 university in Nigeria.
I would have been a lioness.
I would have.
But I'm grateful I wasn't. I'm grateful I went to Unizik, yeah.
You're grateful you went to Unizik?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, thank God that you met a lion and, you have become a lioness by virtue of... So don't worry, just live like her. We met, we were back in school and we had this, also Mickey, also one of our...
Mickey,
we were in the same faculty of biological sciences. Something, we were not as close, so after school we just happened to meet. And then we started, talking and hanging out. And then Chukwuka then mentioned to me that he had this tribe, and then I came for some of the hangouts. My first hangout was amazing. It was at a place called, I think, the Grace Gardens, somewhere in Antoni, Lagos State. It was beautiful. She wasn't there.
I had never seen him physically. Like when all these things were happening, because at the time I was very active. He had not joined, and then Corona hit. So most times we're all at home, right? So taking it from there, one day like that, so I was just on my own in my house, gingerly, and I got a WhatsApp message saying, "Hi, Joy."
You're showing them the WhatsApp message, man. Show them. So that you see the etiquette. The etiquette is what we call using to slide in. Sliding etiquette.
So in my head, in my normal element, I was just like, "That's Lele. Is this one?" Because I didn't even know, I didn't even know there was even a chief to start with. I didn't even know. You get me? I was just there to have fun and all of that. And so he introduces himself saying, "Oh, my name is Chidera. I'm a chief of Yola tribe. I'm reaching out to you because I hear that you know how to work out very well, and I'm just trying to see if you can give me names of places in Lagos that you've been to so that I can schedule it for the tribe to also visit."
Absolutely. And
in my head, I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's do this." Shout out to my sister. Shout out to Chukwuka as well. My sister's husband, Akanimo. I remember we were like a team then that would always waka travel and go up and down, So I was like, "Oh, no problem, sure," So I started giving him names of places and I did all of that. And for me, I just figured, okay, maybe that has ended. That's it. I think I even delayed in giving it to you because you reminded me.
Yeah, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
of course, she was making shakara, but it's okay.
No. I was I genuinely forgot. It was not
sniper
shakara. What
is
am I doing
always a
shakara for
sniper.
you for?
Yeah, you don't know me that time. In fact, I would bet that she thought that I was a girl because most of the
Yes.
people that I say, "Hi, my name is Chidera," and I don't have a DP on my WhatsApp.
That's true. I
and
thought
they'll
he
feel
was
like,
a girl.
"Oh, okay, Chidera." Some of the
That's
boys
so
even
true.
chike me. Sorry. Those boys that chiked me.
That's so true.
Nshika,
Because I thought he was actually a girl. You know?
Yes.
So he came back reminding me about the stuff of which I now eventually gave it to him, and then from then on he just started chatting me up. And I remember one of the conversations you were like, wait, let me bring my phone.
You will
because
show them. But
I need to
ladies
read
and
it
gentlemen,
remember
right?
too.
I think that at the point, we started working together on trying to, get the tribe working after COVID. I was in charge of the tribe in Lagos, so we needed to schedule. I had some plans in my head on how the scheduling would be, organizing. I needed to, know people who have gone to different places so that we can add to our schedule. And then, yeah, voila, she came into place and we had our first online hangout. We had the first online hangout and she anchored that hangout alongside me. And see, that was the first time I saw her. It was
So
in the
I'm actually
dark.
going to do a video because unfortunately both our chats had wiped out, but we were lucky enough at the time to be able to export our conversations, right from the beginning, and this was from March 2020. No, sorry, March 2020. So I will just I remember that he was just saying a lot of funny stuff, to be very honest, and he now told me that he was working in the FMCG space, like he was a brand guy, and all those things. And to be honest, at that point, I still was not even reasoning anything because
How can you reason? Was I reasoning? Me, I wasn't reasoning too. I was,
I was
trying to ensure that the tribe was working. So I was just having a conversation.
I was in a time in my life when I wasn't even thinking of relationships, to be very honest. So when he came into the picture, in my head, I was just like, you wanted this year, so Oga, take and go.
Take and go.
I
beg you. As I come collect more.
At that time that we were having these conversations, I was also in talks with about 2-3 other guys as well. So, and usually in the evenings, that's when they'll call me and we'll have conversations. So I try not to ensure that the conversation is so long so that the other person too will have space to talk with me.
You see what they do to us. Hey, Chineke. I didn't say you tell me this thing. Hey. So you are giving me my own time. You hear Chidera 10 minutes. Give your okay, Chuku 5 minutes. Hey, you had a schedule too. Hey.
Oh
Anyway.
So guys, it was a lot of conversations really.
Anyway.
And then from there, I think we now graduated to talking over the phone.
Yeah.
At night because he has to go to work during the day. And even then, I think he's working from home, but typically in the evening, is when you will have time because, of course, during the day, even if you're working from home, you're busy, right?
Yeah.
So from there, I think most of our conversations were mostly around business stuff, having conversations as regards industries, how businesses are built, and what amazed me was how much knowledge he had. I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
My head.
Where are you coming from? Where do you get your facts and figures from? It was really, really amazing. Sometimes he would say some things, and as he's talking, I'm just quickly trying to Google it, and I'm like, yo, this shit is true. How the hell? And some of the things that are not even on the internet, but I mean, of course, if you are in the industry, there's always that inside gist that you may not necessarily find on the internet, sometimes. And all of those things, he was just giving it to me, and I'm like, oh my god,
back to back.
This is really amazing. So I just fell in love with having conversations with him.
Exactly.
I always
fell in love with conversations. Not me, she
fell
in love
of course,
first.
The conversations first now.
Conversation.
I had not even seen him physically at that time. So what am I falling in love with?
Falling in love with conversation. conversation. Where are you? Kaiti Bogi. Anyway. Well, anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Can you find me?
So at that time, like we had not even met physically. We were just talking on phone. And then I remember the first time we were supposed to meet.
No, wait, before you go to the first time we're supposed to meet. Okay. You know, for me, I remember that yes, I was just speaking with this girl, you know, the fact that, you know, she came through on the organization bit that we had planned for Yola, you know, even without being present, it was amazing. And I started just checking her out. I started, you know, Googling, checking, and I was reading about Joy Ene Hello, and I was seeing all the stuff that she was doing, you know. I was just checking. I remember one of the times that I, you know, told her that I saw a website called Pikuki, you know. Yeah. It had a lot of content about her, and I was like, you know, it was interesting. So that also, seeing a lady who was that interesting and still had this mindset to succeed and standing out from the crowd was really refreshing for me. And all my life, I just get attracted to that kind of style, you know, something beyond just the cosmetic or beyond just the, you know, need of frivolities or social needs and all those distractions out there. I just need some substance. I mean, that's what I've always been about. And most times, so it's not surprising that my conversations are definitely industry kind of conversations, even though many people don't know I have a very strong social side. But I know you people know. But she now know, you know. They don't even know I'm funny. They don't know I'm a comedian. I used to crack joke. Yeah? I'm telling you, my first this thing. Anyway, we will not talk about that.
Exactly. So we'll back to the conversation. Okay. The very first time we were supposed to meet was at a Yola like hangout, but that day I didn't show up, and he told me that he had already gone to cut his hair, to buy new clothes, and everything was looking cool.
That, you know, looking, you know, to come and close shop,
but I didn't show up, obviously. So I actually apologized for that, because I mean, even though he had a feeling that I wasn't going to show up, because even the day before I was still in between, you know. So we now planned again that we're going to meet again physically. And at that time, shout out to Kingsley Obaseki, I was in Kingsley's house. I had been in Kingsley's house for like, I think 2-3 days. And in one of those days, I was supposed to go for a photo shoot, I think. Yeah. And I told you. Yeah. I was going to go for a photo shoot, and I told you about it. And you're like, okay, you're going to use that opportunity to come around.
And by the way, guys, I showed up, you know, after work.
From work, he came straight with an Uber to come and pick me.
Yes, so
you know,
we have to take this thing by force now.
He took me out to a very lovely place at Ikeja. He's my husband. He knows how to. He took me to a place at Ikeja where we spent time. So for me, I think where I started thinking about any form of possibility was at that outing we had, you know, having seen him. And that day when he even came, Kingsley was like, "Ha, Joy, now your last bus stop be this." In my head, I'm like,
I didn't even know that boy can be capable of saying such a thing.
I'm like, which kind of last bus stop? Kingsley was warning me that day. If only that, I mean, I just feel that maybe it was just the spirit speaking through him that day, because really, this was it. You know, so we went out. For me, that day, it was, that day we went out was the day I started, you know, considering any form of possibility, because he was such a gentleman, you know. He was just having, like, there was a moment, oh my God, there was a moment he just was just looking at me, and I'm like, dude, haven't you seen a girl before? Like, why exactly are you staring at me?
Like, I've not, you know, you can't blame me now.
He was just looking at me, and I'm like, God of mercy, save me from this guy. God of mercy.
Yes, I know you people want to know what happened next. What happened next was that we had to go back home. But because, I had to take her back to where I picked her,
He took me
which
back
was
home, guys. Like, dropped me where he picked me from.
it was a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Nigerian police. Hey, Chineke.
That
night we didn't shout out to Mickey. Mickey is an amazing guy.
Yeah.
We didn't know there was a curfew because it was still after the COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
And so we were talked into the night. And so it was getting to, I think, around 10 p.m. And then I was trying to book an Uber. As at that time, I never buy motor. So, boys still they hustle. Okay.
Oh my God.
So I was trying to book an Uber. And then Uber, they were just cancelling. So for over 30 minutes. And so I called Mickey, my friend, and Mickey drove down all the way from his house. And, even though he knew that he was coming out, there was no probability to go back home because the chances of him going to drop me, and then go back home, definitely. He just said, if I come and know where we go sleep. Anyway, so it was interesting. He came out, and we now decided to go and drop her first. I think that was the first hurdle. And on our way to dropping her up, just between Ikeja and Yaba, we encountered like 5 police checkpoints. Each of those 5 police checkpoints was difficult. It was a drama, I kept on telling her, I will ensure that you get home tonight. I will ensure that you get home tonight. Trust me to ensure that you get home safe tonight. And this is our first date. It would not end in a drama that is unexpected. Anyway, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Thank God for Mickey. We got stopped severally. We were searched. But you see, we were able to manage the police people in a good way, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And dropped her home like a piece of cake. Did that go well?
Anyway, so that was it, and from then on, he now did his proposal thingy. Now the proposal you did now.
I didn't see her again for like 3 months, so it's not. We are talking for 3 months.
We were just talking on phone, and then one day he just sent me like a a document, saying he has he told me that he has a business proposal for me. That I wanted him to check me out.
A business plan.
A business plan. Exactly. Me in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, send it. I was so excited. This okay, let's see. Only for me to open this thing, and I'm like, bro, what is happening here? What am I singing? What am I seeing? It was a document saying Akweke Oledo. Because of course, if you know me, I refer to myself as Akweke and Oledo. Say Oledo, please, can we go on it? Oh, I think that document thing happened before we went out. Yeah.
No.
That was when you were asking for us to go out on a date.
Oh yeah. That was the request of the date.
Yeah.
When I asked her to go out on a date with me, and I had to send a PowerPoint. It was just a brilliant PowerPoint. Shout out to USEC. You guys should go and check out USEC. In case in case you want to download a PowerPoint template, USEC is a good resource. So check it out.
Yeah, he told me about it too. So I think that was like pretty much it. We continued talking, and things just flowed naturally. We began to like find out things about ourselves. For me, what I found out about him was just how his humble beginning, and how Lagos boys now, and all the whole Serenere, Tushino, this one buy Benz, this one do this one, some people don't get anything, but looking at him, when I realized who he really was, especially in his space, and I'm like, okay, you're this kind of person, and yet, like, okay, make it make sense to me. Like, what's going on?
What kind of person was that?
Like your humility, your kindness,
is your commander.
And then for me, the fact that when we started like dating, and I started realizing that Uncle likes to enjoy himself. He likes to enjoy life. You know, my husband is kind of person that he wants to, like, every other week, like the question of what are we going to do, where are we going to go.
Exactly.
You know, even if we're not going out, like we're seeing a movie with a bottle of wine and so, like, he just loves all those experiences, you know, going out and everything.
Chicas. You could not flex. Who will flex us? See.
So he's really intentional about all those kind of things.
Yes,
you know, he
now.
likes all those kind of stuff, you know. And then coming to know him, like, in other, like, aspects of his life, spiritual life, his financial life, his career path, or his family, and all those things. And I'm just like, man, this guy, you are a total package.
You don't get it.
Total
Blush,
package.
yeah.
Total.
Blush. No, you're a total package too. You what?
So I think that was like pretty much it. We flowed into each other naturally.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't have to, like, expressly ask, like, will you be my girlfriend or something.
I asked though. Hey, I asked.
No.
It wasn't expressed, like, it wasn't expressly, because we started becoming friends, and it wasn't as if we were sitting down to talk about frivolities or anything like that. I think we were basically talking about our advancement. As at the time, I knew Joy.
And he was asking some kind of questions.
Because
you know,
I was intrigued, because I wanted to know from
what kind of man do you want to settle down with?
You know,
He was asking
she
questions.
kept on saying things like, oh, we will need to discuss this, discuss that. So I had to make sure that those discussions happen informally and we get to discover ourselves without actually having a town hall meeting for it. So exactly, we had to do that. And again, something around the fact that I knew her, and in 4 months' time, we discussed about 4 different businesses. And even when we started dating, 2 months after, we started our first business together, Harvesty, and we also started 1 or 2 other ideas. So it was very productive engagement for us.
And
it was beautiful.
I mean, we will not overlook the spiritual signs in our relationship. We will not. At the time that we both met each other, I was, like, in a lot of financial mess, and he was trying to put himself together. Like, he had plans of things he wanted to do for himself. For example, he wanted, like, a bigger apartment. He wanted to get a car. He wanted to, like, advance in his career. He wanted a lot of things for himself, right? And I mean, the Bible says something about when, both of you are going to chase, like, 10,000. One person will chase.
Yeah, that was exactly my request. So before then, I'd gone to Shiloh and I put in my request.
So it's not only women that go to Shiloh. For those of you that used to
I go to Shiloh.
Women.
Shiloh is very powerful.
Men,
powerful
you
place
hear
of
that?
prayer.
I didn't even go to Shiloh
Every
to pray for
single
man.
time I've gone to Shiloh, and I have to say this, and babe, you know this, I think in the last 4, 5, 6 years, I can't even count, I've always gone to Shiloh.
I've gone to Shiloh, but just twice.
And every single time I had my request for the new year, I didn't pray for a woman. Don't make I'm just saying that every single time that I had a request, whether 4 things or 5 things that I had requested, somehow God had just met it the next year, as it automatically it happened. So the previous year I'd gone to Shiloh and I had put in my request that 1 chase 1,000 and 2 chase 10,000. So the law of multiplicity, and I wanted that partner, who would help me chase that multiple dreams and make the life that I want even a reality. So it was indeed a prayer answered, for us. And again, just like she was saying, it was just like God was just confirming a lot of things
for us.
Exactly. For us, even when we had, because of course it's not always rosy. There are going to be times where you feel like you begin to ask yourself, is this the way? Is it what's our kind of folk again? Or why can't we go again? Exactly. But when you begin to ask those questions, it is the time that you need the inspiration and direction of the Holy Spirit. And sometimes He doesn't just speak to you in the way that you expect. He just confirms occasions that you know that this only has to be the hand of God. Like I said, from the time we met and the time we started waiting on the Lord, He was opening doors for us every single time we made progress in our relationship. From the first time she said yes, and then we started dating, to the time we discussed marriage, to the time we got married, every single of those gates had an
Before
opening.
the marriage part, sorry to cut you, babe.
Yeah.
Before the marriage part, like while we're still dating, like there were things that, so usually what we both do is that he writes down the things that he wants to achieve and I write down mine, you know. And so I remember that I think in 2020 it was like he wanted to move to a bigger place, get a car, all those things. And guys, he met all of them. For my whole financial mess, everything was cleared, and thanks to God, it was the fact that we both met, and he sort of sat me down and just told me, okay, how much are we talking about here, right? What are the things you're currently doing to clear this debt? You know, how much do you need to make per month for you to be able to clear this debt? Like, he sat down with me through it all and helped me do the figures mathematically, like, because I had never even thought of like doing that, you get. And everything where we need to negotiate, where we need to, you know, all of that we were able to do, and we cleared everything immediately, you know. Like I think it was because before I met him, if you know me, I was very active on social media and all of those stuff. And he is a believer of like digital stuff, don't get me wrong, but he also has like his own beliefs. So he believes that a lot actually happens offline, and so many people overlook that offline, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
Since 2020, I don't think that I've been super active on social media. And I mean, he's here, he can attest to the fact that we have actually made so much money, you know, to be able to help us to achieve the things that we want to achieve, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, for us to even literally start our lives afresh abroad was because of like the steps that we had taken financially, you know, to do some of all those things, you know. Some of you even know that I went back to like paid employment for some months. He was the one that encouraged me
absolutely
to go into it and everything, and I don't regret that decision, because at least you can even see, like, for those of you who know the business I'm doing now, you can see how, and even when I look at the back end of my business, I can see how much, man, I'm not the same. Like, I am no longer the same person now, compared to the person of like 2016, 2017, 2018. That has changed, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of confirmation that we just knew, you know. Even the times we had our quarrels, it was even hard to say we wanted to break up, because we knew what a powerful force we were together.
Yeah.
You know, we were very much aware of that, you know. So, and that's why I say, I know that this is like dating, right? And but I had to just mention this part, so that I'm not saying that, oh, if I mean, I'm not saying for you to be all spiritual about the dating thing, because see, you have to be very realistic. We have brothers and sisters, in quotes, who go to church and they do the damnedest things. We both know that one. So you also have to like have sense, and then allow the Holy Spirit to just lead you. Don't force it. Like I told you, in our own case, we didn't force anything. We just like blended, we aligned.
Yeah.
When he mentioned his dreams and my dream, like we're just like, wow, like we see where
we saw how we could work together.
Yeah, we saw how we could work together
to achieve that.
He's like a 9-to-5 guy, but who also understands entrepreneurship big time,
always been an entrepreneur. In fact, I think that one of the major reasons for my successes, and I've always believed in this, especially in the line of job that I do, which is brand management and running a brand, moving it from one point to another point, is the passion, right? The passion of an entrepreneur. I approach the brands that I manage just like I own them, and that ownership and that passion, translates and just harnesses my skills, the skills that I've acquired over the years. I'm able to apply them better because of that sense of ownership. Yeah, so, and it's always been that way for me. I've always had the passion of an entrepreneur, always wanted to become an entrepreneur or run a business or own a business. Yeah, so I think we just found a balance, and with her by my side, I'm very much comfortable, and I'm very much confident that we can go ahead and build anything that we want to build, right? We can go ahead and build anything we want to build, any damn thing we want to build. Exactly. You heard me the first time. So we can build anything we want to build. We can achieve anything we want to achieve. We have what it takes to do it, and we have every single recipe. And it was just God working on those things. So if you're listening here and you want to be, you want to have a partner, I think the one important thing you have to look at is that you have to look at vision alignment. It's an important thing. I think at the end of it, the purpose have to match. If not, there will be diversion. You can't go north and south pole cannot be working together. You can be working in the same direction.
And I feel like largely we all have the power to actually know these things, but people just the concept of love. I just feel like, see, there are so many things that needs to be talked about before love comes into the picture. I know love is important, so don't get me wrong, but I know that as human beings, we actually have the capacity to love whoever we want to love. I know that, and that's why I don't like allow the idea of love to like take over my head. So for me, just like he told you when we met, when I eventually met him, okay, I like this guy. I mean, this good-looking, black, fine, honey looking.
Just give me, give it to me. Give it to me.
I liked everything I saw.
Yeah.
He was very outspoken, and like he was saying the right things. In my head, I'm like, why are you saying the right things? Like, you're meant to fuck up. You live in Lagos, right? So you're meant to fuck up.
Anyway, you see, that's the thing. It's
Babe, hold on. So for me,
the fuck up can't come.
When we started having like the conversations, the discussions, I just knew that, okay, this guy is definitely something that we need to, like, I need to really look at this guy, like pay attention to this guy. And really, that was how it was, his values, my values, we align, my vision aligns, when we're having conversations about God, I just saw where he came from. I come from a Catholic background, he comes from an Anglican background, and we are both open-minded Catholics and Anglicans as well. So I'm like, okay, this is good. I love that as well, because if Catholics and Anglicans, they don't like going in their place, So we're both open-minded, and I really, really appreciated that. So, we just started having conversations. Like, we're not perfect though. We've had fights. Oh my God, like, this kind of fight, like,
No, never got to that. No, of course.
But what I mean is, there's like, it's annoying. That's what I mean.
Exactly.
But at the end of everything, when you look at the bigger picture, you just tell yourself that I cannot lose this lover of mine.
So that is not to say that there will be no mistakes. Definitely will be mistakes. I always say this thing, that if you even look at the lesson of Christ, if it was going to be about perfect religion and just doing what the law says or not making mistakes, Jesus Christ wouldn't have come, because at the time he came, the Christians, or as at that time, the people were very religious. So he didn't also come for the perfect person, he came for the imperfect. You wouldn't always be up the mark. You wouldn't always say, you can't say that you wouldn't make mistakes or you can't be wrong in your judgment, but I think you just have to understand that perfection comes with, understanding who you are, if you're a Christian, what you believe in, and just praying to improve and working to improve. Praying, believing, and improving,
That's his own advice. Now, to my single people out there,
that's
what I'm
yes, that is part of my advice.
What I'm just going to say is, number one, be open-minded. Number two, avoid unnecessary social media advice on relationships, because some of these things do.
Some
Some of these people do like A inside, I'll come out to say B. Please, just do
Everything on social media.
Do you? But
Take
not
with a
everything.
pinch of salt.
Not everything, though. But I
Yes,
mean,
with a
anything.
pinch of salt.
I mean, I always say this to my people, like social media advice. Well, just do what works for you.
Salt.
That's what I'm just going to say.
Just take it like
and
salt.
then I think I was going to. I think I was going to say another thing, but it has gone off my head. But really, just be open-minded. Avoid unnecessary social media advice. Right. I mean, try to hang out a lot.
Yeah.
All the times that I was like always in my, I think thanks to Yola was really the channel which I used to
Community.
Yeah, community.
Amazing.
That was how I was able to hang out really, and that was how I met him. I always used to say that if I had not met him in Yola, maybe it's this one I'm here at Akukuma find the husbandry. You know.
I knew you always had that plan, but Chineke Kariagi. Chineke Akariagi. I am here. Odozi Obodo. All right, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next.
Take care. You will have to explain to me now.